Okay, so today we're going to go over some common flower varieties, how to tell if they're fresh, and I'm going to just create a little bouquet with them. So I'm going to start out with a hydrangea. Hydrangea is a long-lasting flower. Unfortunately, it doesn't always live up to its ideal potential in a bouquet. So what you can do with your hydrangea, if it starts to go limp, give it a cut on an angle with a knife, and then carefully slice up the center so that the water shoots back up. You then want to put it into a vase filled with hot tap water so that the water can rejuvenate the petals. So I'm going to start my bouquet today with this hydrangea. I'm going to add a little bit of greenery, so I'm going to start with my madrona. So same thing, I want to make sure that basically everything below my hand, which is where the top of the water line will be, is clear of all this excess greenery. This greenery is going to pollute the water and it's going to cut the lifespan of the floral stems significantly down. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this greenery, framing my flower. Now I'm going to add some tulips. So you can tell a tulip is fresh when it's firm and it stands up. If it starts to droop and its head gets heavy, it's typically a little bit older. Tulips grow overnight once they've been put in water, and they will continue to do so. So when putting it into a bouquet with other flowers, maybe just have it a little bit lower than you think looks good. So I'm just going to add a couple of tulips to my bouquet. Again, holding with everything clean below my hand. Same rules kind of apply with all flowers. They like to be in nice clean water, no excess temperatures. So I'm just going to keep building my bouquet. So anthurium is what I'm going to add next. You can tell an anthurium is fresh because it's nice and firm and this tip is clean. So once it's older, it will start to actually get discolored at the tip of this or at here. Or it will start to get limp and almost leathery looking. Today we have beautiful red roses and the variety is passion. So a lot of people think that if it is really squished up, that's when it's fresh. What you want to do is feel it at the base. So even though the petals have started to open, when I feel it here, it's still firm, meaning that there's a lifespan left to it. It still has a lot more opening to do. If the flower feels really soft, then it may just need a fresh cut or it may be older. So I'm going to add a little bit of baby's breath. Okay, so here is a beautiful spring flower called hyacinth. Hyacinth has a very sappy, kind of sticky bottom when you cut it. So it will unfortunately pollute the water a little bit more when used as a cut flower. A good rule of thumb is to work in 3s or in 5s. That's not always possible or necessary. So when you're working with 3, you can center around. Same with 5s. If you're working in smaller numbers, such as 2 or 1, you can group the flowers. So we'll do that maybe with our Gerber daisies. People constantly mispronounce them as Gerber. They're Gerberas. And so I'm going to use 2 of them. So I'm going to show you what I mean by grouping. So just coming around to the side, I'm going to nestle him in the baby's breath. And then rather than maybe putting it over here as 2 eyes, I'm going to put them side by side as a focal point for my bouquet and stagger them a little bit. And then I'm going to hold that in place with some greenery. So they're kind of a weird flower in the sense that they only like a little bit of water at the bottom of the vase. They have heavy heads, so the head resting on another flower in this case or on a vase will prevent it from toppling over and looking dead even though it's not. Most flowers, when they start to look soft, will perk back up with a fresh cut and a water change. Orchids, very, very beautiful. This variety is called a dendrobium orchid. So with this variety, they're often an imported item. So a good way of waking them up and getting the most out of them is to give them a bath. So I've already done that with these. I've placed them into cold tap water and let them bath for about 10 minutes. And then I've given them a gentle shake, a fresh cut on the bottom, and then they perk up and you get the most out of them. So I'm gonna just turn my bouquet, adding to the side, maybe over here in symmetry with the Gerberas. I'm going to stagger 2 of my orchids. So now I'm going to add some Alstroemeria. Alstroemeria. This Alstroemeria doesn't look like much because it's really fresh. Most flowers don't look like much when they're fresh. When you get them home into your room temperature, warmer than flower shop environment, they'll start to open up. So these guys we're gonna add into the bouquet. So the heads are nice and level, giving it a little turn. This guy's poking up a little bit. Good. So Salal is a very hardy, very common greenery. You see it in most bouquets. It doesn't all have to be in water. So if you have a couple short stems, you can kind of prop the flower heads up using that greenery. Same kind of rules apply here. So you want to make sure that everything is clean below your hand, which is going to be the top of the vase and the water line. Okay, and so that is how you make a wonderful bouquet.